Hey everyone, and welcome to day 2 of Waste Reduction Week. Today's theme is textiles. I'm here in my sewing room, which is once again an example of the fact that I am not an ideal. It's full of garbage. Way too much stuff in here. Definitely need to do some reducing. I don't want the ideas that I talk about here to be super simplistic because, I'm sure all of you can know that if you're trying to reduce your waste when it comes to textiles, why don't you consider giving your clothes to a thrift store instead of throwing them in the garbage? Or why don't you buy something secondhand instead of brand new? Obviously, if you can use clothing till the end of its life cycle, that's going to make a big difference when it comes to reducing the waste of your textile use. As a sewer, I can tell you though, there's a huge amount of waste that goes into sewing an item. Because you start with a flat piece of fabric and then you cut your pattern out. And, me personally, I keep all my bits and pieces and scraps and I use them up for other things. But in the fashion industry, all that stuff is just straight into the garbage. Obviously, recycling is going to be helpful if those scraps do then get processed into something else. But as I said yesterday, obviously recycling isn't actually the solution to our problems because recycling just is a way of, it's not an input-free system. It still takes a huge amount of effort to turn what was fabric back into something else. It's just a waste. Ian and I are super cheap. So when it comes to the kids, and especially when they're super little, we really didn't have any interest in buying stuff new. I'm guilty of buying stuff new. I fall into the trap. The grocery store that I shop at has clothes and, I end up wandering through the aisle and I see something I like and I buy it. And, and I find that happening with the kids too. Oh, look at that, it's so cute. It's just so easy to pick something up. But we do make a conscious effort of buying stuff used for the kids. And especially because with the little baby stuff, the amount of time that they wear it is so short. Everything that you have is brand new after they've worn it for, the 3 months that they did. The most wear that we put into our clothes was the fact that it was getting washed because it was getting, puked on and all that stuff that babies do. So all that stuff was really, really easy to get used and then also hand off again. Baby clothes probably have a life cycle of 5 babies before they even start to look worn and used. For me personally, a stain on a baby item it's not something I worry about. Obviously they're gonna have stains all over their necks, and once they get bigger and they start crawling, like Sam, I'm sure you've seen the videos of him, and he's just covered in dirt. So, all the knees are stained up. They poop and, poop gets out of the diaper and there's a little bit of a stain on the butt. I don't even think twice when I put them into that stuff. Stuff starts to get worn out and get holes and everything. And then at that point I'm like, okay, it's getting kind of near the end of its life. But as I was engaging with other moms who were buying and selling and giving away all of their old baby clothes, I saw again and again so many people being like, oh, I went and I got these free clothes and they're all stained and disgusting. Who even does that? Or people would talk about how when potty training, they're running out of underwear because when their kid has a poop accident, they were just throwing the underwear away. And so it made me realize that a lot of the clothes that I had that I thought were great, awesome, keep using them. Once I gave them on to the system, once they, give it to a thrift store or give it to a mom group or whatever, a lot of that stuff wasn't going to get reused. So I could feel super good about myself for, I'm reducing my waste by giving away my baby clothes. But the reality is someone else was getting that and going, this is just garbage. So this time around with Sam, I'm looking at my stuff now and getting rid of it, and I'm realizing a lot of the clothing that I have is stained, and it's not going to be something that someone else is going to use. Like, there may be people that would, but, you know, the unfortunate reality is clothes are so cheap and it's so easy to just get something and throw it away that it's not common to use something to the very end of its life cycle. So I've taken a bunch of these stained clothes and I've set them aside and I've started chopping them up, and I am going to make underwear for my kids out of their old baby clothes, because I have an underwear pattern, and as you can see, the pieces that it's made out of are quite small, so I can take that little baby shirt and I can chop it up and turn it into a reusable item that they're then going to be able to use once they're older. So today I'm going to bring you along with me as I upcycle, that's reusing something into a new product, a bunch of my baby clothes, and I'm going to make Leah and Sam a set of underwear. And my plan is that a lot of these stained baby clothes are going to get repurposed into underwear. I'm gonna, you know, make a set up to, you know, however many sizes I can get, so that they're ready for when they need them, and then I don't have to buy that product. And because they're cute, homemade, high quality underwear, there's a good chance that when I'm done with them, someone else might still want them too. So, you know, we'll see how it goes.
My plastic so chewy.
They're so cute.
Yeah.
Okay, here, let's eat. Okay, lift up your shirt. Ooh. Okay, turn around. Fashion show. Oh, they look pretty good. They fit pretty good. Yeah, Mommy did a good job, huh? I hate sewing these types of fabrics, so this this really is a labor of love for me. But, you know, it is kind of, you know, cute to see them, you know, running around in their old baby clothes, repurposed into something new. You know, it reminds you of when they were little, and, you know, it's fun to keep seeing those fabrics again. I know I was saying yesterday that there can be a lot of guilt involved in taking these steps to try to reduce your waste, but I guess today I'm trying to say something that's the opposite, which is, you know, you can do these things that reduce your waste and they make you feel really good, but like donating your clothes when you're not using them anymore. But I think it's important to think about what's actually happening after the donation. It's simple to throw something in the recycling and then feel good that you've reduced your waste, but it's important to think outside of just that garbage reduce, reuse, recycle, right? So don't buy it in the first place, right? Reuse, you know, keep using it, and then recycle. And that's like the order of, you know, the best possible steps you can take. Obviously, not everyone can sew. Not everyone is going to be doing anything like this. And, you know, I'm not obviously repurposing every single damaged piece of clothing in my house. You know, there's there's only so much time and there's so much waste, right? That's why we're trying to reduce waste. There's so much waste. So obviously upcycling my baby clothes into underwear is, you know, a pretty advanced level of upcycling, but you know, anyone can take a pair of scissors and chop like a used up piece of clothing into rags. And the more I engage with the zero waste community, the more I realize that pretty much the answer to every single question you have is rags. There's an infinite use to them, and you know, they're awesome to have. So, you know, obviously you do hit a point, you can't turn every single piece of wasted fabric into rags, but you know, if you don't have any around the house, it's a good place to start. So if you want to see more of the ways that we try to implement waste reducing ideas into our life, stay tuned. We still have the rest of the week. Tomorrow is about celebrating innovators, celebrating successes, basically. And so we'll be talking about that, and make sure to subscribe. And if you haven't seen it already, check out yesterday's video.